In this presentation, we will go through the process of purchasing and downloading the QuickBooks Pro 2019 software from the Intuit website, Intuit being the owner of QuickBooks. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info. Here we are on the Intuit website. It can be found at intuit.com. So we're at intuit.com. Remember that Intuit is the owner of QuickBooks. So when you're thinking about purchasing the software of QuickBooks, you could find it at different locations. But if you want to purchase it from the owner of QuickBooks, you would go to the Intuit website. Once you're at Intuit, Intuit does have different products here, TurboTax, other types of tax software. We are looking for, of course, QuickBooks. So we're going to select this icon up top, the QuickBooks icon, and that'll go to the QuickBooks page. Now remember that there's going to be different types of QuickBooks that we have. There's going to be an online version, there's going to be a desktop version, and then within those versions, there are different versions. If we've decided to download the QuickBooks Pro desktop version, to download it to our computer and then install it on our computer, then we want to make sure that we are purchasing the proper software. So I'm going to scroll down all the way to the bottom of this website. So you can go to the bottom. Here's all their information as we go through this, the pricing information. As we get to the bottom, we're going to see some of the details, including the products here. So we want to go into the products. Now, if I have my screen a little zoomed in, so if your screen was zoomed out to say 100%, and you have a screen of this size, then it would show like this, and we'd have products over here, and we're looking for the different types of products online, self-employed online. We're looking for Pro. So it's between Pro, Premier, Enterprise. Those are the desktop versions. I'm going to make the screen larger again. So if you had a screen at this size, then we're going to go into products, and these are the three desktop versions. So either of these three will look much the same, but of course they're different pricing options. Pro is usually the one that will have the needs for most businesses. Most small to mid-sized businesses will be fine with the QuickBooks Pro. So that's the one that we will select here. Within the QuickBooks Pro 2019, we have two options. We have QuickBooks Pro and QuickBooks Pro Plus. These are going to be the same options here in terms of the software. So we'll have the same software, but the Pro Plus has a few added features, including the 24/7 customer support, the data backup, and we can easily upgrade the software. Remember that the software will upgrade basically every year. So the question is, do we want to upgrade every year? Sometimes we would need to upgrade every year. Oftentimes, most companies could probably go a few years without the upgrade. So if you wanted to download the software and use it for a couple years, QuickBooks will typically support the software for a few years, and although they will have an upgrade each year. So if we want to make sure that we upgrade each time, we could go with the Pro Plus. If we want to have a one-time fee and try to use it for a couple different years, then we probably would just want the QuickBooks Pro. The 24/7 support is nice, but remember that the support's probably best for like technical issues as opposed to accounting issues, because if you wanted to have questions with accounting issues, there's a lot of QuickBooks professionals and accountants that might be better at servicing those needs. So if you want questions on data input, how to enter the data, then you may want to be looking for an accountant to have those support. If you have concerns about whether or not the software is going to have technical issues and things like that, or you have some type of system that's going to be more technical in nature, where you want that technical support and make sure the software is working properly, then the support would be useful for that feature. For most people, I would think that the Pro here would be sufficient, especially again if you're not looking to upgrade it every year, but possibly use it for a couple of years and work with an accountant to help to enter data. So we're going to go ahead and add this to the cart. Then of course QuickBooks will typically ask if we want to add a payroll plan, and this is the case with just about any kind of QuickBooks software, and payroll's becoming something of a more specialized type of area. So there's different type of packages that we could have within QuickBooks for the payroll to help us to enter the payroll process. Or we can use payroll from an outside service. We can even do payroll outside of the software, outside of QuickBooks, have a third party like Paychex or ADP to help us with our payroll needs. So that's another decision we're going to have to make. Do we have employees? If we have a limited amount of employees, then it might be best we could use QuickBooks to help us to run the payroll, although we probably will still need support by an accountant to help to process the payroll. If we have a lot of employees, we may want to consider a third party to help us out, a professional third party payroll that deals exclusively with payroll, like a Paychex or an ADP. At this point in time, I'm going to continue without the payroll. We then have a few different options in terms of the download. That's what we want to do. And note what we're downloading is going to be the installation package. So we're going to download it so that we can then install it on our computer, kind of like you can think of Microsoft Word on your actual computer. The software is going to be on the machine, so you don't have to go online in order to use the QuickBooks. You can select the number of users. As you do so, then we'll see a change in price in terms of users. I'm going to keep that at 1 now. And then we're going to go ahead and check out. Then of course you'll have the payment information here. Once the payment process is complete, we will have this item to download the software. Now when we download the software, we are actually downloading the installation software that we will then use to install the program onto our actual machine. Before we do that, however, we want to make sure to take down these numbers because they will be needed as we go through the installation process. So when we download from here, in other words, we're not done because all we have downloaded is the installation. And then we're going to go through the installation process. And within that process, we're going to need these two numbers. I do recommend having a screenshot of these two numbers so we don't write it down incorrectly or anything like that. If you have Word, you can do it with Word. You can go into a Microsoft Word account, for example. And a nice feature within Word is you can go to the Insert tab. And then within the Insert tab in the Illustrations, we're going to go to Screenshot and then select Screenshot. And then I like to screenshot a clipping. So we're going to screenshot a clipping, and then I'm going to go to, it'll pop back over to the last thing that was open before Microsoft Word, which is this screen. And I'm just going to make a box around this item that we want here and say, okay, there it is. This is then going to be our data for QuickBooks that we will need once we install the software. So I'm going to minimize this, go back to our site. Now this is going to download but not install, so we're going to download this item. Within Chrome, you'll typically have something that will pop up here. If you're in something like Firefox, you'll typically see a little drop down arrow up top. So here's the item that we want. Now I'm going to go ahead and just put this onto the desktop by just dragging it onto my desktop so that I can then install it. So I just took that and I just pulled it over to my desktop. You could try to open it or install it from here. I would rather have it on the desktop and then run it from the desktop, which is what we will do now. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info.